we got some shocking news that just came out from Bob Arum. He's saying that he know that the Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight ain't going down. But before we get into this video and talk about what Bob had to say, make sure that y'all hit my like button and sub to the channel if you're not already subbed to the channel. What's happening with it, y'all? Now, the fight that we've been all waiting for, this year it's been finally heated up because we've been waiting for this fight to happen for 3-4 years now. You know what I'm talking about? Now, it wasn't realistic 3 or 4 years ago, like I continue to say, but we've been waiting for this fight to go down. And that fight is between unified welterweight champion of the world, Errol the Truth Spence, and WBO welterweight champion of the world, Terence Bud Crawford. You know, this is the biggest fight in boxing. This is the fight that all the fans want to see. Now, lately, we've been hearing that the fight is pretty much already almost done. It's just a few little wrinkles that they need to iron out because we've been hearing behind the scenes that Terence Bud Crawford, he wants more money than what Steven Espinoza, Showtime, and PBC is offering him. He wants more money. He feels like that now a lot more people interested in this fight. The bag is bigger and he want to make sure that he gets a bigger bag up front, plus almost 50-50 split on the back end, right? So we already heard Steven Espinoza said that Terence Crawford is getting very close to a 50-50 split on the back end. That's what he negotiated for himself. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not tripping just as long as it doesn't cause this fight to not happen, right? Asking for too much money and not coming up off of what you asking for. All right. Now, we haven't heard too much from Errol Spence's side. We heard Errol Spence telling Terence Crawford to sign the contract. Let's get it popping. So that lets me know that Errol Spence and his team, they good with the money. They not complaining about the money. You heard Errol Spence say, hey, that the fight is definitely gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen. So, you know, some say that Errol Spence is capping. And, you know, I say that he either know that it's gonna happen because it's pretty much already done, or he's speaking it into existence. Either way, that's not capping. Now, Bob Arum, Terence Crawford's old promoter, he had pretty much everything to do with this fight not happening in the past. Bob Arum came out several times and he said, hey, it's not enough money in the fight. Who's gonna pay for it? Both of them are gonna want too much money, you know. And then he'll get in front of ESPN cameras and flip the whole script and say, oh, well, we want the fight, but Errol Spence is the reason that the fight is not happening because Errol Spence, he won't go to Bob and tell him that he wants to fight, and Errol Spence is ducking Terence Crawford. So they actually used this fight to build Terence Crawford as a monster in the welterweight division for years and years. You know, Bob Arum, ESPN, and the whole platform at Top Rank. They used it as a narrative, but the whole time that they knew that it had nothing to do with Errol Spence. It was more so the networks. It was PBC and Bob Arum. And Bob Arum had more so to do with it than anybody because he came out and said that he didn't want to take a chance putting his money in the pot on Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford wasn't a sale. He didn't do what he needs to do to sell big pay-per-views, right? So he was holding off on the fight, just like he blocked the Manny Pacquiao fight, and years down the line, he admitted to blocking the Manny Pacquiao fight. So we all know what happened. Terence Crawford, he chunked the deuce. He told Bob Arum, hey, you couldn't get me none of the big fights that I wanted. The Errol Spence fight, the Manny Pacquiao fight, none of the big fights that I wanted, right? You wouldn't go to bat for me. You wouldn't try to do what you had to do to make it happen. So I'm leaving you. And then he put in a lawsuit saying that Bob Arum, it was discrimination, but basically just saying that Bob Arum didn't go to bat for him. You know, he didn't do what he needed to do to put Terence Crawford in the big fights like he did for Vasyl Lomachenko or some of his past fighters that he had, right? And so, with that being said, the fans and everybody, we all elated now because we like, hey, it ain't nothing blocking the fight from happening. But then Bob Arum comes out again, right? And y'all remember when Bob Arum came out and said, nah, it wasn't really never the problem on Errol Spence's side, to keep it 100. It was Terence Crawford. He just wants to fight that's going to get him the most money. It don't matter if it's Errol Spence or Josh Taylor or motherfucking Manny Pacquiao, whoever it is. He ain't really worried about the best competition. He just worried about the fight that's going to get him the best money, the most money. So with that being said, you know, we've heard a lot back and forth with this happening. Now Bob Arum is coming out and he's saying that the fight between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, it ain't gonna happen. He says that he don't see no way that this fight is gonna happen due to the money issues. Now, I'm gonna play for y'all exactly what he said, and then I'm gonna come back and cook on it, and I'm gonna tell y'all exactly what he said in the rest of that interview too. So let me play it for y'all, and then I'll be right back.
Spence Crawford is taking quite a while to get finalized. Any observations from that situation?
Well, same problem.
Yeah.
It's a big
Money.
fight. It has tremendous interest from people who follow boxing. But that doesn't necessarily translate into revenue from pay-per-view, which is the biggest source because of the piracy. And the fighters realize how big a fight it is, and they want to get paid big amounts of money. And the promoter, in this case, PBC, has to look at it and say, you know, hey, we'll put it on. We'll give you nice guarantees, but you've got to really live from the upside, which the fighters realize now will not develop, will probably not develop. Wow. So again, unless somebody wants to subsidize that fight, I don't know how it gets done.
Wow. That's a darn shame, Bob. I mean, that's really a changing dynamic.
So y'all heard Bob Arum say exactly what I've been saying about this fight. The only difference is I've been saying that I believe that the fight is going down by hearing the fighter, Terence Crawford, and Errol Spence saying that, yeah, this fight is going to pop off. Now, a lot of people might take this as Bob Arum hating on the fight and Bob Arum hoping that the fight don't go down so he can put on the fight with Terence Crawford and Josh Taylor, or, you know, he don't have to be left out of the biggest event in boxing right now. Whatever it may be, I've been saying a lot of the same things that Bob Arum has been saying, right? The reason that they having problems is because these fighters, they want to get paid they want to get paid what they think that this fight is going to be worth. But the problem is because Terence Crawford don't really sell that much on pay-per-view, PBC, they don't want to take a big chance, right, on this fight. They know around what numbers that Errol Spence is going to do. If you put Errol Spence's numbers, right, with Terence Crawford's numbers, right, you got probably a little over 400,000, right? Now, a little over 400,000, that's cool. That's good pay-per-view sales, but not for a fight of this magnitude, because you got Terence Crawford, he asking for like 25 mil up front guarantee and the back end. I don't know exactly what Errol Spence is asking for, but if Terence Crawford is asking for 25 million, Errol Spence couldn't be too far under that, if not over that. You dig what I'm saying? So both of these fighters is asking for a whole lot of money, but one fighter is putting up good pay-per-view numbers, but the other fighter ain't really holding his own. So you hear PBC, they don't want to take a chance on it because they know that the fan base, right? The fan base that's saying that they gonna buy this fight or they can't wait to see this fight, the majority of the fan base, they screaming fights. Like I've been saying, you heard Bob Arum say, right? They pirating fights. They streaming all the fights. So they telling you that they gonna pay for it, but when the numbers come out, it shows that they not paying for these fights, right? Even the good fights that they screaming that they want, they not paying for the fights. When they in the confines of their own home and they have a choice to pay for the fight or to stream it because they got a streaming device in their home like most people do, they choose to stream the fight. They might tell you they gonna pay for it, but they ain't paying for it. So that's the problem that we have. The problem is on the fans. Even when you do get good fights, A lot of the fans ain't paying for it, right? Just like the Wilder Fury, one of the Wilder Fury fights. They found out that over 10 million fans streamed the fight. It still did over 300,000 pay-per-view buys, but over 10 million fans streamed the fight. And like I kept telling people, I said, y'all keep streaming these fights that are very good fights that they put on. It's going to come back to bite you in the ass, because when we want the Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight, they going to say, hey, y'all going to need to ask for way less money, or we don't want to take the chance of losing money putting on the fight. And that's just business. Nobody is in business to lose money. PBC and whoever else it may be, right, that invest in this fight, they are in the business of gaining money. They want to put on this fight because, yeah, hey, we think it's a good fight and we think we could profit as much as the fighters can on the fight. That's what they be putting on these big events for. Now, with all this streaming, just like Bob Arum said, it changed the game. And a lot of people looking at the $89, $99, $99 price tag, and they don't want to come up off that. Of course, the gate is going to do big numbers. Can't nobody tell me that the gate is not going to do big numbers, because people that go to fights, they just go to fights. People that got money to go to fights, they going to go to the fights. You dig what I'm saying? But like I said, it's a whole different situation when you got the people that don't go to the fights and they watch it on TV and they have a chance to watch it for free. They're going to watch it for free. Most of them is. Now, you got some fans like myself, if it's a good ass fight and they don't go to the fight, like myself sometimes, right? If it's a fight that's worthy to be paid for, they're going to pay for it. They're going to pay for it because if they feel that they want to support their fighter. But the majority of people that's buying these fights, they ain't built like that. They're not doing that. What Bob Arum was saying, it made a lot of sense. I just think that, the fighters are going to work it out. The network is going to take a chance also, because we got to work on both sides. The fighters going to have to work it out on what they asking for, and the network is going to have to take a chance, and then we going to get this fight. So I'm still optimistic that the fight going down, we going to get this fight. So Bob Arum says that the only solution to this and to stop people from streaming these fights is to do what they do in the UK. Change the pay-per-view prices from $89.99 and $99.99 to $25. Now in the UK, he's saying that they still do very good pay-per-view, numbers, because it's cheap over there. They only paying $25 for the pay-per-view. So he says that, the only way to solve this is to take a chance and drop the price to $25, and then hope that people now, instead of streaming it, say, okay, well, it's only $25, I'm gonna buy the pay-per-view. But he says that's still taking a chance, because you got a chance that the people that stream it, they still gonna stream it, even if it's $25. But it's a big chance to take. But he says that that's the only way that he can see solving the problem of all of the streaming that's going on in the US. So he says it ain't gonna happen for this fight, of course. So he don't see the fight going down. He don't see the fight happening. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Make sure that y'all drop a comment and let me know what y'all think. And y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.